Welcome back to another episode of Rip Roaring Realtors. As you can tell, that is not Jenna at the end. That's actually Mark Newcomb.
Not Jenna.
Mortgage lender with Homesale Mortgage. And we're back for our summer edition. As you can tell, we're all wearing our swimmies. Mark, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us what you do, who you work for.
Mark Newcomb, work for Homesale Mortgage loan officer. I cover a couple different offices. Been doing this probably for 15 years, 16 years now, actually. And been with Homesale for almost 6.
Today's hot topics, mortgages.
Yeah. Love mortgages.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in your 15 years?
I would say recently the biggest change would be we are getting back to more government products. FHA, VA, I'm seeing a lot more of that just because, you know, some people don't qualify for conventional. So we're kind of going back to the governments. And I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but there's a little bit less competition on houses these days as well.
Absolutely.
So governments are being accepted now.
I had a closing yesterday, and that was a VA loan. So they're making a comeback, which is good.
I've done those. And
Yeah, it was good.
really,
So it's definitely coming back.
Yeah. I think the statistic last month was almost 33, a third of transactions were written as cash. Now we're hearing and we're kind of seeing these buyers still coming, and it depends on the price point. Some of the higher end stuff is probably still going to be conventional cash.
Do you think that's because people have so much equity in their homes when they're upgrading that they're writing as cash?
That's
Exactly.
good.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And they're not actually paying cash. They're
They're-
getting their mortgage
Exactly.
contingency.
We just got a cash offer this morning on a listing for $798,000, but they did notify too that they're going to be getting a mortgage.
Was that the log cabin
Yes.
with the man who did not like your pictures, your descriptions, or the realtor's in charge?
We cannot talk about that.
That house was absolutely gorgeous.
That is
Mhm.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It seems like the houses that are selling have some very unique feature.
Yes.
It might be, and they're selling fast and above asking. It's a big yard. It's a unique log cabin.
13 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out of town, but my dad showed one for me that I wound up writing because I'm greedy like that. Yeah. But it was an A-frame, and it was like at $380. And my dad's like, I think this go like 3 1/4 or 4 1/4. He's like, that's where he thought it was going to go. It went for $440.
Wow.
Like they blew it out of the water. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even have
Wow.
somebody just like,
Yeah.
I want this A-frame. I want this wasted space on an angle.
Was that also log?
No,
I think it was timber.
Valley Road. Yeah,
Because
It's
there was
cool property.
a log A-frame in Stevens for $285. I can only imagine what that sold for.
That was that Girl Scout Road one?
Yeah.
I saw that one
Yeah.
too.
That would have to
Insane.
go 100 plus over.
It was way underpriced.
Unique
from what I
properties
could see.
sell, people.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, your townhouses, your semis, your cookie cutter, ticky tacky houses still sell. But if it's got some glaring, outstanding persona to it, it's definitely going to draw in more buyers.
Absolutely.
Just sold a contemporary mid-century rancher, Brady Bunch house, straight up. It's
Straight
so
up Brady
cool,
Bunch.
so quirky, and we were in an absolute bidding war.
Wow.
And
Huh.
Cash took it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Cash wasn't actually cash. They were contingent upon selling their house to have the cash. If they didn't sell their house in time, they got kicked out, and then we got it.
Not just contingent upon selling their beach house.
Their beach house, yes. That's the kind of position they were in.
It's a
Yeah.
totally different market.
Yeah.
Probably the first to start slowing down.
Yes.
It's my sister said, like when she moved down to the beach, 3 years ago? The beach, that's a Pennsylvania term. We only have one beach and one mountain. It's big.
We don't go down the shore.
We don't get down the shore. But this is Ocean City. She moved there into a booming market. I'm like, I wonder if they're just, pumping her full of air or if this is actually going to be beneficial to her at some point. And she's doing great, but the market is absolutely slowed. She's talking about production numbers, and they went from an extreme high to like a swooping low.
Yeah.
Everything happens in waves.
Secondary homes. I feel like we went into a boom with that from 2020.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody had
With
cash.
mortgages. Everyone's buying a secondary home because we can't fly. We got to drive. We can drive to the shore or the beach.
Nice to the short.
Easier to get to, and you have your own place. No one's going to kick you out of it. You don't need to play by the COVID rules. And now travel has opened up again, so people are like, "Hey, I'm going to sell this and
That's a good way to think
Well,
about it.
take my trip to
Yeah.
Europe."
But
Or
we also, though, didn't they come out with some rules for buying a secondary home as opposed to, they put it in the same category as an investment property now.
Pricing is very similar
Yes.
to investment because people were starting to buy secondary homes and then just renting.
Yes.
And getting
Yes.
and they
with
They figured that out very quickly.
10% down
10%
secondary
down.
home.
There's distance, like you say, oh, we could buy this as a rental property or a second home.
There's no set number, but if it's within like 50, 100 miles, it's going to be investment unless you live in like a resort town. Then they'll call it a second home. So if you live in
We
like
do not live in
central
Miami.
Jersey and then you buy a beach house in, say, I don't know, Cape May or something, then you can do that as a second home.
It's not.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What-
Go ahead.
What have you noticed in terms of number of applicants right now and the quality of mortgage applications that are coming into you?
I think across the board, number of applicants are down. For me personally, they're up. All the realtors that I work with are doing quite well right now. And it's typically, I would say, between 20 and 30 a month I'm getting as far as applicants go. Can we do all of them? No. There are a few that don't meet the standards of what we need for a mortgage, but we're certainly willing to work with them, get their credit where it needs to be, let them know what their income needs to be, and we take it from there. I'm having a great year.
Yeah.
It's been a lot better than last year.
There's been a lot of buyers sidelined for 4 years now, and they finally are having an opportunity to come out and not have to go 30,000 over asking.
Right.
But I mean, we're dealing with some higher interest rates.
And I can see also the quality of applicants is, I don't want to say the quality, but just they're not as qualified applicants these days. So maybe that's why it's ticking up a little bit. And since government loans are coming back, we can get them qualified in the government loan. So
We've got the over quality right now.
it is. That's a good way to put it. Absolutely.
21 and 22, you had to be top level quality
Everything.
to get
Right.
an offer.
750 and above,
It was
everything.
an all-out brawl for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're
It
all
really
a little
was.
tired.
Yeah.
Very tired.
I think one thing that's changing though is, where the inventory is running low on when everyone came out of the woodwork, right? And now people got too lax. Realtors got too lax with what they were doing and not enough marketing or retaining people or keeping communications up. And now I feel like there's a new influx and people are struggling. So I feel like it's more of a polarized effect of where, there's some agents doing really well and there's some agents doing really poorly because they don't have systems in place to maintain and build new relationships.
Yeah. I've got several clients right now that they've been looking for a house since before 2020, but have decided that now is the right time, despite these interest rates being up, despite not really having a substantial change in their income. This is just a good time for them. We've been looking at houses on and off for 4 or 5 years. People are ready to write some offers now, which is great.
Yeah.
7:45 this morning over here.
That's right.
Date the rate, buy the house.
Absolutely. I just closed on one 2 months ago. They were looking for 7 years for a house.
Wow.
Yeah, with a realtor. And they were actually with
one realtor?
one realtor. Yeah. And they were looking for 7 years. They were with the loan officer that was in effort before me.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
switched them over to me when he left. And they finally got a house.
Good for them.
So
That's awesome.
And they were ones that we had to build their credit.
Right.
Because it was decent and then it slipped and then we built it back up. So, we got them into something and it all worked out in the end.
Some people, jumping into the game is a very quick and easy thing. For others, it takes a lot of time, credit counseling and paying down debt or consolidating debt. So, Mark, if someone comes to you and they say, we saw a house pop on the market and they're pretty well qualified, how quickly could you turn around a pre-approval for them?
We get an application. I can do it right over the phone, get their income docs, everything. We can do it in a day. Write the offer, get the offer accepted. We can close in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that's a great thing for buyers.
Find a house, be in it in under a month.
Yeah, that's a good thing for buyers to know.
A wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It's not a 3-month process for some people. For some people it is, but
Or 7 years.
or a 7-year process.
But 3 weeks feels
Rough.
You got to be a very compliant buyer to do what you're told.
It's
To provide the documentation
Right.
in a timely manner, like yesterday.
like
Yes.
like I want it now.
Yeah.
The answer to everything is yesterday.
Yeah.
Don't buy a car.
Yeah.
So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking to buy your first home, rates aren't that great. What are we looking for? Like, what would be an ideal home? You're not going to get a first-time home buyer price in this market is like $300,000, and when we all started, it was probably $150,000. So,
Yeah.
what are you looking for? What do you guys tell your buyers to look for?
Hopes and dreams.
Northern Pennsylvania. No.
Have you heard of Cambria County, Pennsylvania?
So I did just get a first time home buyer under contract at 206.
Nice.
So single home with a garage.
Not a mobile home.
It's
205.
yeah.
205,
So it's
maybe.
there are places like that, and payments reasonable. It was like $1,600 a month, I think. They're PHFA, so
Okay.
rates are lower. Great program for first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And I think it's 5% down conventional with PHFA, so it's like
You can do 3.
20 something, $25,000 out of pocket, 16-ish $100 a month.
Yeah.
That's not right here in Lancaster, Effort or Warwick or Cocalico, our general area. You got to step out of that a little bit, but there's options out there. So
Right.
I feel you should never be afraid to tell your people, hey, I know you want to be within X to Y, but we actually should expand that search a little farther because, like I want to be in this school district or I want to have this and this. Or the most common thing in Pennsylvania is like, I want land. I say, too bad today. Right?
you want
Maybe it's not the next purchase, but it's a thing, right? Expand your search. Don't create a microcosm of particulars.
Yeah. Well, setting an
Where to begin?
expectation
Right,
is
yes.
probably the most important thing. So you get someone that comes to you and says they want a $200,000 home on land. It's either you're going to have to wait or you're going to be putting a substantial amount of money in to fix something up.
Yeah.
And that's,
you're buying the lot for 200 and building a house. If you want land, there's a lot of space in the Midwest.
right.
Or you can read
How much land do you want? Well, you're just gonna have to go a little further.